Yo, 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 what's the dealio, y'all? Listen, you already know what time it is, man. I got a morning banger for you today, all right? So check this out. Levels, levels, levels. What I want to do is we had FOMC yesterday, right? Because we had FOMC, I didn't go live last night. I wanted to make a video and break down levels for you guys for trading today to pay attention to you. And also at the end of this video, I have a breakout watch, right? I got one stock that we're looking for on a breakout, and I'm gonna share that stock at the end of the day. I mean, at the end of this video, okay? So we're gonna go over the indexes first, and then we're gonna go over the stocks, okay? Like the individual stocks. So already we got SPY and we got the IWM, right? So we gonna go to the computer and I'm gonna just give you the levels, okay? I'm gonna give you guys the levels, and then y'all could trade these based on these levels right here. All right. So let's get it. And I know I got lines on my charts and stuff like that. So listen, just pay attention to the levels, y'all. All right. Just pay attention to the levels. Okay. So here's what we're gonna do. We got SPY and we got the IWM first. All right. So let me share my screen with y'all. All right. Screen. All right. All right, so we got the SPY right here, okay? So SPY yesterday came down, and it came back up right here, okay? So if we can get above, we got this level right here from yesterday and then the day before as well. So we got this level right here, okay, at 661.75, which is all-time highs, okay? So I would say calls above 661.75. All right, and that's just all-time highs, right? It's an all-time high breakout right there, okay? Now we also came below, we also came all the way to 654 yesterday as well, okay? If you look at the 30-minute time frame, look at what they did. It was at the end of the day, okay? So at the end of the day, it came all the way down here and then it came up, right? So what I would do is I would be looking at this level right here actually, which is 658.33, okay? If we lose this 658.33 level, then we could be coming down lower. And then we have this like 656, all right? But I would say 658.33 break below for puts, okay? So we're going to say, and I want you guys to watch a couple levels, okay? So puts, my bad, y'all. So we got puts below 658.33. Okay. So that's what we got on the SPY. Now, like I said, it could come all the way to down here to 654, but that's if we lose that 658.33 level. All right, let's go to the IWM. Yesterday, the IWM had a crazy, insane move. All right, look what it did. Yesterday, the IWM went all the way up to all-time highs, almost right here at 244.24. Right, it touched right there, and then it rejected. If we go to the 15-minute time frame, look what it looked. Look at it how it looked. Right, big wick came all the way up here. FOMC hit, and then it rejected. Tried to come right back up, rejected, and it came right back down. Okay, so that's what it looked like intraday right there. If we go to the daily though, we got right here. Okay. So IWM would really need to get above 244 to break out, okay? But I think we're going to be inside of this range to the upside potentially. Now, if we get above 244.24, then obviously, calls to the upside. So we're going to say calls above 244.24. Okay, and then we have such a big range to the downside. I'm gonna put this right here at 237.03. Okay, so puts below 237.03. Okay, but we have this whole range inside of here. So tomorrow could be tricky with IWM. So I want you guys to pay attention to volume and also momentum, okay? If a stock comes down here and then you see it doesn't break below, it could bounce and it could come right back up. So we could potentially trade within this range tomorrow, or we could break out. Okay, so I want you guys to pay attention to that. It's a big range right here, so you just got to really pay attention to see. And it's also depending on like where we open up at as well. Okay, if we open up closer to the 244, then it would be easier to break above here and then go higher, right? If we open flat, then we just got to see which direction the market goes into. Okay, but that's on IWM. The next one that we have on the list, we have Google, Hood, Nvidia, and Palantir. So let's go to Google real quick. All right, now let's go to Hood first. So we got Robinhood right here. Okay, so all right, perfect. So if we go, so we have room potentially to come all the way up to 121 tomorrow, if we're bullish. So if we're bullish tomorrow, I would say our price target is going to be 121.63. We closed at 118. If we break above 121.63, then we could go even higher to potentially 123.46. Okay, so we're going to go here to the 30-minute. All right, we go to the 30-minute right here. And the high of day yesterday was right here, okay, at 119.12, okay? So for Robinhood, we're going to say calls above 119.12, okay, 119.12. And then we're going to say puts below where we at. So support. Puts below 114.96 right there, and then we got this level right here as well. So I would really say puts below 116.02. Okay, so we got puts below 116.02. Okay, but if we are bullish and we get above 119.12, then my price target would be this 121. I said, well, this would be my first level, 121.75. Okay. 121.75 is going to be the first price target. All right, price target would be 121.75. Okay, that would be the first price target right there. And then the next one, if it broke past, then somewhere around 123. All right, somewhere around 123. So that's what I'm looking at on Hood right now. All right. So write those levels down. The next one, we got Google. All right, Google. So just looking at this right here, this was today. So my support is going to be below this 247.90. Okay, so we're going to say puts below 247.90 on Google. All right. You see we got this level right here. And if it comes below 247.90, then this will be my price target. There's 200 EMA on the 30 minutes, which would be 244.84. All right. So 244.84 would be the price target. So downside price target would be 244.84. Yep. 244.84. Okay. Downside price target 244.84. All right, now for tomorrow, to the upside. All right, we opened up. Google opened up, and its high was at 251.77. So if we break above 251.77, then I would say get in the calls right here. If you want to be a little bit more safe and conservative, you could say 252.39. Okay. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to put calls above, and I'm going to put two resistance levels. All right. So my resistance levels, R1, is going to be calls above 251.77. Right. 251.77. And then R2 is going to be right here at 252.34. All right, 252.34. Okay, so calls above, resistance, and these are the levels right here. All right. Calls above 251.77. If you want to be super modest, then go above 252.34. Puts below 247.90, and then the downside price target will be 244.84. All right. These are all-time highs right here. So if it gets above here, then you could set a target of right here at 255, and then it could go higher. Right. This is in pre-market from the other day. All right. The next stock we have Nvidia and then Palantir. So let's go to Palantir. Okay. So when I'm looking at Palantir right here, number one, let me look on the daily. All right. So a lot of buyers stepped in yesterday on the daily with Palantir here. So let me go to the daily. the 30-minute time frame right here. So I really like this this area right here for support. Okay. So I'm going to mark this. And this area right here is going to be 163.67. Okay. So support is 163.67. So we're going to say puts below 163.67. Okay. So if we get below 163.67, you see this level right here. Okay. It held. If we break below that and we close below it, enter in the puts, and you can write it down to 159, but really I would say like 162.05 first, and then if we close below that, then it could come down a little bit lower, okay, to that 159. Now, if we go higher tomorrow, all right, if we go bullish, then I would be looking at this level right here, and I would say calls above 169.77. All right, so we got calls above 169.77. All right. If we could get above today's highs, right, yesterday's highs, enter in the calls right here, and then we could ride it up to right here at 171. And if we break above there, then we could go even higher, all right, to about 172.17. So calls above 169.77 for Palantir. Puts below 163.67. All right. And then the last but not least, we got Nvidia. Okay. Nvidia right here. So they came down to right here. Let's look at the daily real quick. So it was a red day. We do have a gap to fill. So let me mark this gap real quick. We got this gap to fill right here. All right. And so because we gapped down right here. And so with Nvidia, we could be coming to fill this gap from 173 to 174.67. So if we go to the 30-minute time frame, let's say, okay, so this is the day's high right here, right? So if we could get above 173.23, you can enter into calls, okay? So I would say calls above 173.23. All right. But let's say if we open up right here tomorrow at like 171, and we get above, if we could get above 171.58, then you could enter in the calls right here and ride it up to here. And if it decides to go into the gap, then you could, continue to ride it here, hold it here, and then ride it to the gap fill, right? But with what I'm seeing right here, we could come up here and then open up a little bit higher, and then we could go into the gap. That's to the upside, right? That's to the upside. But for puts, if we were to get into puts, realistically, I would say puts below like 169.30, right? There's a little area here. It's a little range right here. That's why the wicks are so big right there. But I would say if we can get it below 169.33, you can enter into puts, okay? So we're going to say puts below 169.33. 69.33. All right. So puts below 169.33, calls above 173.23. All right. Those are the levels for Nvidia tomorrow. all right, and all the other stocks. Now, I mentioned a breakout alert, right? So here's a breakout alert that I have for you. I'm gonna give this free stock to you guys. It's gonna be CoreWeave, all right? It's gonna be CoreWeave right here, okay? So, as you can see on the daily time frame, right? This is what it's looking like. It has a lot of room to the upside to go right here, all right? So, if we can get above tomorrow, if we can get above right here at 121.79, I would say enter in the calls, okay? So calls above 121.79. All right, calls above 121.79 for CoreWeave, and it could go all the way up to here, 125.68. All right, if it decides to be bearish, I'm really not looking for it to be bearish, but if it did, then I would say if we lost and we broke below 114, 114.66, then you could write puts, or you could get in puts on a rejection of the resistance level. All right, so that's everything that I'm looking at today, y'all. All right, those are the levels for today. These are post FOMC levels. All right, so trade responsibly. All right, be patient, be calm, control your emotions, and let's get this money today. All right, like I always say, make sure you get up out of your head and go get into this world, because your head is a dangerous place to live. All right, and also remember, the more you study, the less you worry. All right, y'all stay smooth, man. Have a great day in the market. I'm gonna holler at you guys later on. Peace.